Hello everyone, and welcome once again to Oberon's Outlook on the Emotional Exchanges. TFT Tarot for Today, Divine Dabblings, with me, Oberon. And I'm here today to do our weekly tarot and astrology forecast on the emotional realms, what goes up in your life, what goes down in your life, who do you love, who's coming towards you, that kind of thing. Hopefully we shed a little light on those issues. I use several Egyptian themed decks, and we usually start off with a reading for the collective, for which I use the Isis Tarot. Not really a tarot, but definitely inspired by Isis and Egyptian type archetypes. So I'm just going to shuffle these a little bit here. And I have the wheel, number 10. It's kind of like it is in the tarot. Number 10 for the collective. Spontaneous and good-humored, optimistical nature, inventive, positively inclined, young of character. Could mean windfalls, lucky things, transport and trade, prosperity and fortune and business. So it is a lot like the wheel in the tarot. Wins a prize in the lottery, a change to the good in somebody's life, a new beginning, the turning of the wheel. So we thank you for that. And we'll start our reading. So we do these readings for the signs of the zodiac as they're organized by their elemental association. So we do the air signs, followed by the fire, the water, and the earth signs. So if you just want to skip through, you can go to the little marker where something flashes on and says air, fire, etc. So air signs are Gemini, Libra, and Aquarius. This one's for you. Alrighty, so your focus card for the week, which comes from the Glypikos Tarot, which is entirely Egyptian themed. It is a tarot, but it sort of wants to not be a tarot. It has no four suits nor court cards like kings or queens, and essentially the entire tarot is numbered from 1 through 78. But the beauty is that it has these key words that I like to use for the focus. So here we go. So for air signs, their focus this week, that word of the week, is hostility. Air signs need to be really careful. Watch the hostility quotient. It could very well be that with that full moon coming up, there's a lot of emotionality going on for all of us signs. Mercury has just come out of its retrograde by the time you're seeing this. So we're still suffering that 2-week shadow after the fact, and it could just mean that there's a lot of communication, emotional matters that will still be open to some angry vibrations. That doesn't sound entirely good. Alrighty, so keep that in mind, air signs, and I'm going to go ahead and shuffle from the Ancient Egypt Tarot for the rest of this reading. Soon we will know other things that are happening in our emotional realms this week. Okay. So air signs. What emotional happiness will you find this week? You have the reversed Ace of Discs. So air signs possibly find they have more time to work on some projects they're doing. Maybe they're trying to start some new things, new relationships or friendships. It may be the kind of thing where maybe there's a particular amount of financial or material aspect here. Maybe what they're finding is that a delay in a particular kind of relationship means a withholding of material assets one way or the other. Maybe it's based on that too. I don't know. That one's kind of foggy for me. I'm going to possibly see if I can sum it up later. So our next card, though, is what is challenging for the air signs? What is your challenge or surprise this week? And in this card, you have the Six of Discs, the Six of Pentacles. And so the Six of Pentacles suggests that you really expect nothing less than a total victory in a certain emotional matter, whether it's getting to another level with an actual love interest, a goal. If there's a standard there and you feel that that's really important to you, it's a challenge to you to have this sense of victory or success in a romantic adventure, or possibly it relates to just more friendly platonic things, just sort of bridging the Rubicon when it comes to creating a good vibration, a good friendship thing. I mean, maybe this could just be saying too that the air signs have to find a way to really bring something wonderful, celebration of love. Maybe you're planning a wedding or something. Maybe you're challenged by the fact that you have to do something really big like that, just have some big event celebrating, the emotional celebration of good times. So I don't know, that one's also just veers a little bit into the territory for me. But the final card represents what will be important to your other relationships, your primary or your children or co-workers or friends or neighbors, what pertains to them this week. And we have the Hanged Man upright. And so the Hanged Man upright says, we seek knowledge or answers or wisdom. We seek something greater than ourselves on some level, these people in our lives, and they are willing to really make some big changes, make sacrifices, make big changes in behavior, change goals or outcomes if possible. So this may be concerning that it perhaps is saying that where we may have counted or felt we knew for granted, we took for granted somebody's emotional feelings about ourselves or others, that maybe we don't understand that they are making a change, and that maybe that change will be big, will affect us, but it is really a change for them. And so we have to keep that in mind too, that sometimes people emotionally don't necessarily respond the way we think we would, that we should not take them for granted, air signs, or any sign really. So let's try to sum that up if I can. It's still a little foggy about that one card, but we are guided by the idea of hostility, and I sort of see it like maybe there's just some bad vibrations in our romantic or emotional life, that maybe too many people are pissing us off. Maybe we're having arguments. It may be about material matters. I mean, maybe we have this situation. I mean, maybe it's really, I have to be a little more ambiguous about it. Instead of trying to find out where it brings happy, maybe just say, no, it doesn't bring happy, that there's a delay going on here. It may have an impact in the material realms on some new relationship or some project that is supportive of a relationship or has factors of that relationship. But what is a challenge here, I think, is really trying to celebrate and to bring a certain standard of celebration to an emotional occurrence. Even though it's very likely that people around us maybe are changing their minds about our relationships with them. So it does seem like there's a lot going on here, and even I don't totally understand that, air signs. But I'm going to have to move on now to our next sign, which is the fire signs. And fire signs are Aries, Leo, and Sagittarius. And this is your focus card. Your word of the week, the star, the sense of destiny. Fire signs really find themselves in very hopeful positions. They have sort of taken stock of where they see their works being applied. And I think fire signs are really inspired and feel a blessing, a sense of divine graciousness bestowed upon them that I think is their key word this week, that really empowers them to go forth and be good and to share, wisdom and other things with others. So let's see what the rest of our cards are going to tell us then, fire signs. Let's give it one more good riffle. Okay, fire signs. What brings you emotional happiness this week? It's the Queen of Discs. We find great happiness in being able to nurture and to care and to help people bring things into order. And I think this does specifically apply to we want to shower really loving care on somebody. I think fire signs, we want to really nurture and care for somebody. We want to help them grow, and I think it makes us feel very happy when we know that, of course, that's appreciated, but that really is such a big part of our nature to give that. So I'm saying that to all the people, whether they're actually in love in some sort of relationship like that, or if they feel a love that deep, but in other ways, like the love of a grandparent for a child, or cousins for each other, or things like that, that there just may be a number of ways to feel that we care for and that we are cared for. So what is surprising to us? What is our challenge this week, fire signs? And it's another court card, and it's the Prince of Swords reversed. And our princes are like the knights normally. Princesses are pages, but the prince is like a knight. So those represent comings or goings of matters, usually related to what they're their suit quality energies bring. And so that would be the reversed Knight of Swords. And I think our surprise here is that maybe we have been really stumbling in a way, or somebody is stumbling towards us in romance, perhaps fire signs. Maybe somebody is too aggressive, maybe they're too fast, maybe they're clumsy in a certain way. So that I feel our challenge is that maybe we feel we're in over our heads a little bit in a certain romantic matter or something highly emotional. We sort of feel that we're going to bring some destructive energy if we tell people certain truths, if we reveal certain things about our heart. And maybe we're challenged by how to tell somebody we really love them or care about them or want to do right for them, because we just sort of feel we don't know how to do that. We might do too much. So that's our challenge this week. So then finally, what is of concern to those around us, to those in our heart space, to those that are romantically or otherwise close and loved by us? And we have the Four of Discs reversed. And I think that the people around us, maybe, they have some concerns that amount to what they have to give up, I think. I think it's really, they're saying that there is no price too great to pay for love. And so maybe that's a tangible economic kind of price to pay, which of course falls in with the discs. But it really is, when we're talking about love and care and relationships, we're really talking about other things. And so once again, it may be talking about what we nurture, what we are inspired by with those cards there. So it could very well be that what concerns others around us is that they feel that maybe too much is expected of them in love or in emotional care. Maybe they're withdrawn for some reason, or maybe they don't feel they're quite with the pace of that. So let's cap that up again. We are very inspired this week, and why not? Because we feel very happy, very pleasantly surprised, and feeling the great joys of nurturing and a different kind of love, a love of being a parent or being a guide or a mentor to somebody or being a partner with somebody. It's not necessarily romantic love, that one, but this one could be. We could be worried, we could be challenged by the fact that maybe we understand we're too aggressive sometimes when it comes to our emotional matters, and maybe we say or do more than what we should. But then finally, those around us, I think they're sort of feeling like they don't know if they measure up. They sort of feel, like there's something expected of them that they want to give, but maybe they're not feeling they get exactly that reward. Or maybe they do. I don't know. So that's what I have for the fire signs. And we should move on then to our air signs. Our water signs. Water signs. Water signs are Cancer, Scorpio, and Pisces. This one is for you. And you have a word or focus of the week. You have the Magician. So water signs, you need to think about the will. You need to think about your will. You need to remember that many of the things you need, you can control. You just have to really focus and use your willpower. Use all your talents of creativity and belief and structure. And maybe, you can find what you need to find there. So let's go on with the rest of the reading. And I didn't mention it earlier, but I do hope you watch my partner Banshee's show, The Material Matters, on Sunday mornings at 10 o'clock. Get the financial up-to-date on how you can succeed in education, finances, and more. Okay, so water signs. What gives you emotional happiness this week? The exact opposite of what gave the preceding sign. You have the reversed Queen of Discs, so that's so funny in a way. But I think that maybe what gives you happiness then is when you feel you're not necessarily being called upon to be everybody's healer or emotional comforter. That maybe when you feel you are not being necessarily drained emotionally from people who want you to take care of them. Maybe that's in subtle ways, maybe that's in bigger ways, but it makes you feel pretty good, I guess, if you know you're not really that responsible this week. Maybe it's just a little harder for you this week to do that. So then what I think will be your challenge this week? Oh, it's that dreadful Seven of Wands. And your challenge is going to be holding your own, especially in a relationship. I think water signs may feel that sometimes they have the vantage point in a relationship, and then maybe sometimes they don't, and their partner is not necessarily a fair person. But overall, this card seems to signify that they do have the vantage point in a relationship, you water signs. And so you just need to remember that you will be challenged for that. But so far you seem to be holding your own. And then finally, what is it that would be concerning to those around you who you care for, whether you love them or you love them a little bit because they're just your friend or your neighbor or your uncle or whatever that is. And it's the reversed Two of Swords. And I think that some of those people, especially maybe with you, they've had a change maybe in their feelings with you a little bit. There may be something going on where they don't totally appreciate what you've said or done, and they sort of feel like maybe they're a little upset. They're venturing in a different direction than you. It is possible that if it's not you, you're still involved because you know who these people are or they're related to you somehow. But I think that what concerns others is that they feel that in their emotional matters, they maybe need to move in a different direction. So once again, this week is about you more or less being more in control and directing from a willpower point of view where you want to go. You feel happier if maybe people aren't leaning on you emotionally to take care of them. However, you are a little bit challenged. There are people there, but you are holding your own. And I think that's an emotional matter. So it may be that if there's a relationship coming up right now, you're holding your own, but maybe they're playing hard to get, or maybe there's a dissension going on there, and you're holding your own with that. And then finally, the reverse Two of Swords, the others around you, the people that you care about, they may have some bickering with you, and maybe they're moving in a new direction, or they don't feel they understand you, or that you're not honest with them. So you may have to check into that. That's what I have for the water signs then. So now we're going to move on to our friends, the earth signs. Earth signs, Taurus, Virgo, and Capricorn. So this one is for you. You have a word of the week as well, a focus card for the week. Well, this sounds like scorched earth, desolation. I think as a word to the wise, this is saying that maybe you're going to have a hard time this week in an overall sense of feeling that there is not a sense of support for your position, or that you feel mostly alone. Desolation talks about feeling alone. And I think that from an emotional point of view, earth signs, it may be that something is putting you kind of alone from others. It could be a fight. It could be separations. It could just be some other circumstance, perhaps. Well, maybe we'll see what that is. Excuse me. Earth signs. What will bring you emotional happiness this week? What will bring you contentment? And you have the Three of Wands. And I think that if you've been waiting for somebody in love, or somebody, I'm going to say it's in love, but maybe it's a strong emotional partnership or relationship with somebody, and you've been waiting for something to happen there too, an agreement to whatever it is, an agreement just to go to another level. You're going to be happy because you're going to feel like your ship is coming in, as they say. You're going to feel like you've made a good choice, and you're going to feel that waiting wasn't really the wrong thing to do, that maybe you will feel rewarded by the sense of being patient. So what will challenge you or surprise you in this next week is the reversed Queen of Cups. And so what will challenge you, I believe, is that maybe it's some of this stuff that just really, you have to maybe be a little less emotional and a little more functional in terms of what's going on there. If a relationship is happening because you've been patient and waiting for it, don't sour it by casting bad impressions, maybe with over emotionality. Maybe you've been waiting for somebody who you really love or care for to come back, and they did, but now your challenge is to not necessarily be overly emotional about that, to be reasonable. Maybe you have to examine what happened in the relationship that maybe you made them go away and you're watching them return. That I feel there with some of you. So then finally, what will be of concern to those around you, those that either you love like that, or that are emotionally friendly with you and you care about their welfare? And it's the King of Discs reversed. And those folks, not all of them maybe, but some of them, I think that they're feeling like they made the wrong choice. They didn't invest well in their emotional relationship with you. So this could be saying that if this is the person that you've been waiting for to come to your life, maybe other people are looking at them and saying, what was that about? Maybe other people who care about you too are just wondering, really, what are you about in terms of some of your emotions there? Are you over-investing or under-investing? I wonder if it could be either of those. So let's sum that up again for the earth signs, and then we're going to get out of here. But, this is a week of feeling maybe alone or isolated from other people. I'm not sure why that would be, other than maybe what we've been talking about here, that maybe we're happy because we think something's coming to us. We've been waiting for a long time. We really want this. We want it with our heart. So maybe it's a relationship to happen of some level. But what will challenge us is maybe keeping a cooler head emotionally, not getting carried away. Some people, I'm just going to say I've been there. If you love them too much, they kind of glaze over because they can't accept all that emotionality. They need more time to adjust to somebody falling in love with them. And then finally, those around you, maybe it's that person, maybe they think you could overreact because you either overinvest, you think more of what the feeling is, or you think less of what the feeling is than what it really is. So maybe either of you in this agreement are thinking that the relationship is something more or less than what it really is. So that's kind of interesting, and definitely a little bit more on the emotional side. So we'll have to see what next week brings. While you're at it, though, don't forget that we do some live streams. There's the schedule there. Whoops, not quite there. I'll show you where it is. There we go. So come back and see us for our live streams, but also come back and see me next week for another Oberon's Outlook on the emotional exchanges. Bye-bye.